Urgent alert. 2 Supreme Court decisions have been handed on immigration issues. Are you one of these people? We've seen one of them has been a victory, and the other one could be what's impacted. Are you impacted by this? I'm Attorney Lana Joseph on the law. So on June 18, the Supreme Court handed down a decision on immigration issues on DACA. This decision, it seems as if that was a decision of a victory for the DACA recipients, because what the Supreme Court said was the government could not end this program as they were trying to end it. Now let's be clear about this. It's not because they can't end the DACA program, but the manner that they're trying to end the DACA program, the procedure they did not follow as it should, give them the defeat, make them feel as if it is a defeat on their part. But the truth of the matter is they can end the program. But for now, DACA recipients can renew their DACA program, their EAD, and still continue with the process. But there's still issues that lies ahead. We'll talk about them. The second one, on June 26th, yesterday we saw that the Supreme Court handed down again another decision that impact immigration. And this one here is for the asylum seekers. Now, we've been receiving lots of phone calls where it says, are we one of these people? How does that impact those people who are actually filing for an asylum? Now, let me explain this to you. This decision itself, it's not for all asylum seekers in general, but this one is specifically. What the court says was the government has the right to do what they call an expedited removal proceedings on certain aliens who come into the United States. Who are these people? So basically aliens who arrive in the US without proper documents, including migrants who have entered into the country illegally. These people, they can be placed on what they call an expedited removal proceedings. As that, when they are seeking for asylum, the first thing is they will have an officer do what we call a credible fear interview. During that process, if the asylum officer determined that there is a negative credible fear interview, meaning that they don't really believe that there is the fear of threats as the person is saying, then they have what we call a negative credible fear interview. In that, then the officer can have a supervisor review this. And if the supervisor agree with that decision, then the alien, the person themselves, can ask for an immigration judge to review that decision. At that time, the immigration judge can decide if they're going to affirm that decision or vacate that decision. In a case where the immigration judge vacate that decision, at that time, the alien at this time has two things. They can decide to just go home, be removed, or they have one more shot at this, which is go to the federal court and file what we call a habeas corpus to give them another way to review that decision. And that's where this Supreme Court decision lies, because what it says is these aliens, they don't have the right to go to the federal court to have another review, because in the process, while they go into the federal court, then their removal proceedings is basically on hold until the federal judge decide if they will agree or not. And during that period of time, they can probably ask to be released on bond. But this decision we just received here is telling all these aliens, when the immigration judge make that final decision and say that they're affirming that decision, there is no credible fear. At this point, the government doesn't have to wait for anything. They can ship you back home. And that's where this decision lies. So what does that mean for you as an asylum seeker? I want you to understand that you want to make sure that you have all your facts, your documents, and everything ready. That at the point when you are going to see an officer, you have your attorney ready, on board with you, preparing you for this interview, because that itself can be the difference of you staying in the U.S. or going back home. Also, in the decision that the Supreme Court hinted, it also mentioned that as an asylum seeker, even if you have a positive credible fear interview, even with a positive credible fear interview, the alien, you are still subject to detention unless you are being released on parole by the Department of Homeland Security. So meaning, even if you have a positive fear interview, you can still be held in their detention for months and months until your case is at its end or you get removed. So there's lots of changes on how asylum seekers go about getting their credible fear positive or getting a relief that they're seeking for. What we have seen is that this is one more shot at immigration, making it even harder, difficult for an asylum seeker to get their relief. But just because it's difficult doesn't mean it's impossible. And that's the reason why we are here. We will fight for you. We will make sure that you get all the information that you need to make the best decision on your case, because you do have a right. Now, are you upset about all these things? You have the right to change things. If you're a U.S. citizen, vote. If you're a green card holder, become a U.S. citizen and register to vote. If you can't become a U.S. citizen, you have friends and families, encourage them to go out and vote. Now go out and be the change. Thank you. For more updates, we want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Lana on the Law, or for our Creole one, we want the Creole Impact. You can check our website, visit us, and call us, because we are here for you and we will fight for your relief. Thank you.